She had always tiptoed through life like she did the hallways quietly, carefully, with eyes lowered and voice softer than a whisper. Ailina was not made for grandeur or spotlight. She was made for simplicity, for tucked-away corners and silent kindness. That's what made her the perfect maid for Harrington Corporate Towers, a place where invisibility was a skill, not a flaw. Every morning at 5, Ailina arrived in her plain, navy uniform and faded sneakers. She'd step out of the staff elevator clutching her bucket and mop, armed with a duster tucked into her belt like a sword she'd never use in battle. She didn't speak unless spoken to, never wandered from her assigned section on the 34th floor, and always left before the executives filed in with their sharp suits and sharper words. But this morning wasn't like every other morning. The power had flickered overnight. The elevators were stuck for nearly an hour. The cleaning supervisor, a gruff woman named Mrs. Dalloway, had been fuming and barking orders like a drill sergeant. Ailina, ears red from anxiety, had only half heard her name followed by, just, "Do the 38th too. Mr. Gordon's office, Mr. Gordon?" "Got it," Ailina had murmured, head bowed, but her nerves had jumbled the message. In her flustered state, she'd heard the name and number wrong. Instead of the modest, rarely used office of the mid-level Mr. Gordon on the 38th, Ailina found herself standing before the imposing double doors marked, "Mr. Elias Stone, Chief Executive Officer." She hesitated. Surely this couldn't be right. But the paper in her hand, slightly damp from her sweat, had 38 scrawled on it. Maybe Mr. Stone was away. Everyone knew he was on a private vacation to Greece. It had been whispered about for days. In the staff break room, perhaps it wouldn't matter if she gave the place a quick once-over. So she pushed the door open. Inside, the room felt like a cathedral, high ceilings, dark wood paneling, a sprawling glass window that offered a panoramic view of the city skyline still wrapped in morning mist. The desk was solid walnut, with intricate carvings that looked like veins pulsing beneath the surface. It smelled faintly of cologne and success. There was something sacred about it all, and Alina's chest tightened. She moved like a ghost, dusting the bookshelf that held awards and black and white photos of important men shaking hands. She swept beneath the velvet couch no one probably sat on. She even dared to touch the desk, wiping it carefully, every stroke deliberate and tender like she was polishing a relic. And then, the door clicked shut behind her. Ailina froze. Every muscle in her body locked in place, as if fear alone could make her vanish. "You're not supposed to be here," came a voice. Deep, controlled, tired. Her breath hitched. She turned slowly. And there he was, Elias Stone, the man whose name alone made interns stand straighter and executives stammer. He wasn't supposed to be back until next week. His return was a whispered secret, something to be planned for. Yet here he stood, shoulders broad beneath a tailored gray suit, hair slightly tousled, eyes a stormy shade of slate. "I am sorry, sir," she stammered, stepping back, her mop still in hand like a guilty child holding stolen candy. I was told to clean Mr. Gordon's office." There must have been some mistake. He didn't speak immediately. He just watched her, gaze assessing, not cruel, but unreadable. She felt her heart pounding like a hummingbird's wings. "Put the mop down," he said quietly. She obeyed, placing it gently against the wall, hands trembling. "What's your name?" "Ailina, sir." He took a few steps forward. She braced for anger, reprimand, perhaps even dismissal. She couldn't afford to lose this job. It was all she had since her mother's illness had devoured their savings. This job had paid for the hospital visits, the medicines, the rent of their tiny apartment with the leaky bathroom. But instead of shouting, he just said, "You did a thorough job. Most people don't touch the underside of the couch." I always try to do it properly," she whispered. He looked around the room again. "You know what's funny?" he said after a pause. "I can't remember the last time anyone cared to do anything properly around here." Ailina didn't know what to say. So she said nothing. Then he looked at her, truly looked at her. "Have we met before?" She shook her head, cheeks burning. "No, sir." Strange, you remind me of someone. She opened her mouth to apologize again, but he raised a hand to stop her. "No need," You're not in trouble. Asterisk that should've been the end, but for reasons she couldn't explain, her feet wouldn't move. Asterisk, he gestured toward the couch. Sit, just for a moment. Asterisk, her instinct screamed no. You didn't sit in the CEO's presence, you left. Quickly, quietly, with gratitude for not being fired. Asterisk, but something in his voice, a quiet loneliness, made her sit. Asterisk, do you ever feel like the world just keeps spinning without asking if you're ready? He asked, almost to himself. Asterisk, she blinked. All the time, sir. Asterisk, he smiled faintly. Not many people would answer that honestly. Asterisk, they talked for 5 minutes, then 10. Ilena listened mostly, while Elias, strangely unguarded, spoke of pressure, betrayal, a failed engagement, a father who never approved. He wasn't just a CEO anymore. He was human. Asterisk, and she saw the cracks. Asterisk, eventually, the moment ended. Ilena stood to leave, apologizing once more for the mistake. Asterisk, but as she reached for the door, he called after her, Ilena. Asterisk, yes, sir. Asterisk, thank you for cleaning the wrong office. Asterisk, she left, heart thudding in her ears. Asterisk, the next morning, she expected everything to go back to normal. She cleaned her designated floor, avoided eye contact, kept her distance. Asterisk, until on the 4th day, an envelope arrived with her name on it, handwritten. Asterisk, inside was a card, short, precise. Asterisk, I'd like to see you again. My office, tomorrow. ES. Asterisk, that began a series of meetings. Asterisk, not romantic, not at first. Asterisk, she'd bring him tea. He'd ask about her day. Sometimes they talked about books. Sometimes silence was enough. Asterisk, rumors started. A few staff whispered. She ignored them. So did he. Asterisk, then came the day her mother fell seriously ill. Ilena showed up late, eyes red, hands shaking. She tried to hide it, but Elias noticed. Asterisk, what's wrong? Asterisk, she broke. Right there in his office, tearful, embarrassed. Asterisk, he stood up, walked to her, and gently handed her a tissue. Go, be with her. I'll take care of it. Asterisk, you don't understand. She choked. The hospital. The cost. Asterisk, Ilena, he said, voice firm. I said I'll take care of it. Asterisk, he did. Asterisk, not out of pity, not for power, but for a reason she wouldn't understand until much later, when she'd find out his own mother had died because no one helped in time. Asterisk, their bond deepened. Not the kind born of fairy tales or candlelit dinners, but the kind forged through trust, shared pain, and healing. Asterisk, eventually, he asked her to lunch. Not as her employer, as a man. Asterisk, why me? She asked once, genuinely confused. Asterisk, he smiled. Because you didn't see the title, you saw the person. Asterisk, she looked down. I'm just a maid. Asterisk, no, he said gently. You're the first person who ever saw me as more than money. And maybe that's exactly what I needed. Asterisk, they didn't rush. They didn't care what people thought. Asterisk, months passed. Asterisk, her mother recovered. Ilena started taking night classes. Elias insisted on paying, but only as a loan she could pay back at her own pace. She studied hospitality management. She dreamed, for the first time, of running something of her own. Asterisk, and one day, years later, when Elias knelt before her, not in the grand office where it all began, but on the porch of her childhood home, he asked not for forgiveness, nor admiration, but for her hand. Asterisk, not because she was beautiful. Asterisk, not because she cleaned the wrong office. Asterisk, but because she had the courage to be kind when the world told her to shrink. Asterisk, Ilena said yes. Asterisk, and the shy maid who once tiptoed through life learned that sometimes the biggest changes begin with the smallest mistake. Asterisk, because she didn't just clean a desk that morning. Asterisk, she wiped the dust off a soul. Asterisk, and in doing so, uncovered her own worth. Asterisk.